Let's just begin at the first verse. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. The household be too small, too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house, take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. Ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. They shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts, on the upper doorposts of the house, wherein they shall eat it. They shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire, and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, with the purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until morning, and that which remaineth of it till the morning ye shall burn with fire. Thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. The part I want us to look at, how did he tell them to be? Of course, we know this was the first month, 14th day. Eat it with your loins girded, the shoes on your feet, your staff in your hand. We're fixing to make a move. We're fixing to make a move. Things run in cycles. And as we've seen this, we was looking at the feast, and the next thing was the feast of unleavened bread. The Passover was on the 14th, and on the 15th began the feast of unleavened bread of the same month. You look at those things, and what does those things mean? We bring it on over into the New Testament. And there's a lot of scriptures we can look at even in the Old Testament as to the feast, and as time goes on, we will. We will continue to study these things and look deeper into them, get some more understanding, bring these other feasts into play. But here was the Passover. God told him to do this. We were talking about the son. God told him to do this each year. They were to have 3 feasts every year. But if you get to the seventh month, it just seemed like a whole month of feasting. There were several things that took place in there. The Feast of Harvest, the Feast of Tabernacles. You had things that begin there on the 1st of the month, and then the 10th, and then the 15th. Just a continuation. We know that God deals in numbers. But as we look over here in Matthew 26, Jesus said unto them, You know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. We came here with the covering of Lucifer, of Satan. Now, a lot of times we get to thinking fairly highly of this old tabernacle, this flesh. Some of us even make the mistake of thinking it looks pretty good. Give it enough time. You'll change your mind. Just give it enough time. You'll see different. But see, there was a fall. There was a curse. Satan said, you'll be as God. As God. That's what man's trying to do. He's trying to be as God. Talk about the Antichrist. He sits in the temple. He says, he's God. I can make my own decisions. I don't need God. I can do it myself. He sits in the temple. It's supposed to be the temple of God. Paul said, don't you know you're the temple of God? How is that? Through the blood of Christ. Being born again. Through the new covenant. Through the new covering. Is there a covering? Yes. Well, I thought you said the Spirit was in you. It is. That's the covering. That's the part that covers this, whereby you're sealed to the day of. That's the part that covers and gives grace to this body until the change. To the redemption of the body. What is it? The Holy Ghost, that blood of Christ sitting there on the seat of atonement. The Passover, why was it at the Passover? Because there had to be a lamb that was, the firstborn was going to be slain. He was the firstborn among many brethren. Just as that serpent was lifted up in the wilderness, Jesus Christ had to be lifted up as that serpent made sin. He was not sin. He was not that serpent. He was made sin. The Bible says he was made sin. That you and I could become the righteousness of God. Lifted up. Smitten there at Calvary. Done away with. What? Do away with that image. He said, I'll despise your image in the morning. That image of the first birth, that image of Satan, Lucifer. Why? What did it do? It drew attention to himself. It drew attention to himself. He was admired. He was the most beautiful in the garden. He was the most beautiful son of the morning. But he let his beauty go to his head. He began to notice the others looking, watching. He said, man, I'm the man. I'm the man. Yeah. God cast him out. That very day there was iniquity found in his heart. That's not the nature of Christ. The nature of Christ says, he's the man. My brother's the man. My sister's the man. Amen. He's the one. That's the nature of Christ. The Passover. What was it? There was a lamb to be slain. 2 days. I'm going to be delivered up. Remember, they couldn't do anything. They tried to take him until he sent Herod word. Until he said, give him commandment. You take the Son of Man. You destroy this temple, and in 3 days I'll raise it up. They couldn't do anything until he gave them lead. They couldn't touch him. They tried. What did he say? He said, I have power over all the power of the enemy. I have all power in heaven and earth. He says he's giving you power over all the power of the enemy. See, where does this go? It goes to who me and you are. Who are we? Preached the other Sunday. We're not servants anymore, but we're children of God. He said he made us kings and priests. Is that so we can go around and show people who we are? No. It's so we go around and show them who he is. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.